All right, I'll take a couple of minutes huh, because not much. We'll actually finish this chapter as well in the next class. Huh. So let me just show you the cash flow forecast. Give me 2 minutes so that I can admit most of the students, and then I will just show you that cash flow forecast, how cash flow planning is done. And in the next class, we'll be completing this chapter as well because it's a small chapter, I told you earlier. All right, I guess now no more is actually, I am not actually seeing any of the student to arrive. All right, so I can start, and if any student comes in, I can admit that as well. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. All right, this is important, huh? Because I just explained you that cash flow planning. Now see how cash flow forecast is done. See, now let's say, and remember, cash flow forecast is done on month by month basis because you need to see how much cash is coming in and going out on monthly basis because the problem can arise in the next month or in the coming months as well. So you cannot actually forecast for the whole year. You will forecast it for next 6 months or 5 months or 4 months, and for every month you need to see whether the cash flow problem is arising or not. Now, if you see, there's in the month of January, okay, all right, just see that in the month of January, cash sales, okay, what do? You actually record cash inflows first, okay, cash inflows. This is a forecast. Remember, this is not an actual sales. You you feel that or you forecast that this much sales will happen, okay. So cash inflows, I wrote मैंने क्या लिखा cash sales and there is an amount there, right? Any amount. Then I'll show you with the figures as well later if it is required. So now then payment by debtors. So you one is cash sales, second is आपने जो सेल किया था क्रेडिट पे और उससे आपको पैसे मिल गए. Obviously वो आपने पिछले किसी महीने में किया होगा ना, सेल की होगी. Now the debtors have given you the amount. So that is also cash inflow. Let's say there are only two cash inflows. You will add them together. You will get total cash inflow. Okay. So cash inflows can be more than that as well in a business, right? I have actually used two of them only. Now, so you will go for cash outflow, right? So I have used only one cash outflow, that is cash purchases. See, मैंने purchases नहीं लिखा हुआ, मैंने cash purchases लिखा है, right? Similarly, मैंने cash sales लिखा है. Now, cash purchases you will record it under cash outflow. Okay, let's say there is only one, or there can be more as well. So you will add them together, all cash outflows, and you will get total cash outflow. I have used the letter B for it, okay, and A for total cash inflow, right? Then you see the opening balance. Now, what is opening balance? Opening balance is always given. If there will be a question in the paper, they will give you the opening balance. Now, opening balance means that in the previous month, let's say it's January, right? In December, there was some sort of cash which was available with the business in the month of December. So that was the closing cash at the end of the month of December. So that becomes the opening balance of January as well, that this much cash is already with the business. Okay. And during this month, business will be having this much cash inflow, which I talked about, and this much cash outflow as well. But opening balance means the cash which is already available with the business at the start of the month of January, right? And you actually carried it forward from the month of December, right? If there is some cash available there in December, right? Okay, then how closing balance is calculated, you need to understand that as well. Now, for closing balance, because I think you can't see the whole. Let me just a minute. I can't. Just a minute. Yeah. Now I think you can see it. For closing balance, see. Okay, sorry. For net cash flow, before opening balance, we'll talk about net cash flow. Now, what is the formula? I have written it is here in my notes as well. A minus B is equal to C. That is, A is total cash inflow. Okay. B is total cash outflow. So you will subtract total cash outflow from total cash inflow. So you will get what? Net cash flow. सॉरी ये दिस वन नेट कैश फ्लो कितना पैसा जा रहा है और आने के बाद इतना पैसा बच गया बिजनेस के पास ड्यूरिंग दैट मंथ राइट एंड देयर इज एन ओपनिंग बैलेंस एज वेल ओके आई टोल्ड यू विच यू एक्चुअली ब्रॉट फॉरवर्ड फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस मंथ अगर कुछ बचा हुआ था तो अब इफ लेट से योर नेट कैश फ्लो इज पॉजिटिव remember if your net cash flow is positive what does it mean that your inflow total cash inflow is greater than your total cash outflow if it is positive okay you will add it in your opening balance right because both are positive if your opening balance is positive your net cash flow is positive you will add both of them together to find out your closing cash balance and closing balance means that is the cash which will be left with the business at the end of January and remember this closing cash balance will become the opening cash balance of the month of February remember the same way okay the same amount of closing cash balance of January will be the opening cash balance of February because we'll just carry it forward there all right now but remember if net cash flow is negative normally whenever net cash flow is negative we put brackets like this oh sorry we normally put brackets this way okay now brackets actually show that there is a negative balance that cash flow is in negative because minus sign is not used huh? Accounting students they know about it so bracket is used let's say if it is negative for example if it is negative net cash flow that means your cash inflow is less than your cash outflow okay so this is net cash flow okay now what will you do you will subtract it from your opening balance because now this is a negative and positive negative cannot be added right so you will subtract it from your closing opening balance to find out the closing balance now remember opening now this is not cash flow problem what is cash flow problem let's say in the month of March let's say in the month of March now you have a closing cash balance which is in negative this is cash flow problem now business will not have enough cash to meet its daily expenses because in the month of January you can see net cash flow is negative fine but finally closing balance is positive right there is no in February there is no negative balance okay but in the month of March you feel let's say if it comes like this net cash flow is negative okay and it's let's say a huge amount and it actually makes your closing cash balance कि आपने नेट कैश फ्लो में से ओपनिंग बैलेंस को निकाला तो ओपनिंग बैलेंस थोड़ा था योर आंसर कम्स नेगेटिव नाउ दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल कैश फ्लो प्रॉब्लम so it means whenever the closing cash balance at the end of the month is negative that means business is facing cash flow problem it means the business is not having enough cash to meet its daily expenses वो तो नेगेटिव में चला गया हुआ है ना बाकी दोनों महीनों में there is positive cash balance it means after paying or after subtracting cash outflows or expenses pay करने के बाद उनके पास still there is some positive cash available so this is not cash flow problem all right now any question regarding cash flow forecast you are most welcome if it is clear then it's fine anyone who is not clear about it
सर
yes Hamza
सर जनवरी में नेगेटिव होगा क्लोजिंग बैलेंस तो फिर कैश फ्लो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी सिर्फ मार्च में मतलब होना चाहिए
अगर नहीं अगर क्लोजिंग बैलेंस कहीं पर भी नेगेटिव हो जाएगा वो कैश फ्लो प्रॉब्लम बन जाएगी
ठीक है सर
तो अभी तीनों महीनों में से सिर्फ मार्च में हो रहा है ना नेगेटिव मैं आपको ये दिखा रहा हूं जनवरी में नेट कैश फ्लो नेगेटिव हो रहा है और मार्च में भी नेट कैश फ्लो नेगेटिव हो रहा है राइट लेकिन हम जनवरी में नहीं बोलेंगे कि कैश फ्लो प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है व्हाई बिकॉज क्लोजिंग बैलेंस इज पॉजिटिव डिस्पाइट नेट कैश फ्लो बीइंग नेगेटिव यहां पर नेट कैश फ्लो नेगेटिव हुआ है और उसने क्लोजिंग बैलेंस को भी नेगेटिव कर दिया है नाउ दिस इज कैश फ्लो प्रॉब्लम
ठीक है सर
गॉट इट हमजा all right so okay I think that is all for today I'll see you in the next class and we'll finish this chapter as well thank you very much